Okay, so we got to figure out what to work on. We could do. Let's do. I'll just bring up my thing for some theory, and then we'll just see where you're at with theory, and just go from there. Basically, maybe we can tie that into improv because the thing with theory is you, the way I like to see it. People usually see it as like theory is one thing, improv is one thing, composition is another kind of thing. But I like to show how it connects between them. So, for instance, you learn a theoretical concept, and then actually that can lead into technique because then you kind of play around with that theoretical concept in terms of the technique on the piano. And then as you're playing around with it, you start kind of messing around with it in different ways, and that's more improv. And then you mess around with it in a certain way that it sounds cool, and then you're like, oh, I think I'll turn that into a song, and then that becomes composition. So the cool thing is you can go from theory, technique, improv, composition. So maybe we'll work a bit on that. One sec, let me just bring this up. All right, here we go. Um, okay, so you're familiar with um, you know, let's say triads and inversions, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, how about okay, first actually let's start with play an A major chord.
Uh, on an E major chord?
A major, yep.
A major. I am not familiar with that, sorry.
Okay, no worries. Yeah, that's a good thing. Just lets you know where you're at. So let me just bring up one more program here. You can see it loading, it becomes super bright. Okay, so basically when you play the first note's called the root note. So in this case, the root note, because it's A major, the root note's going to be A. So we'll just play A. Now, to play a major, one thing you can do, well, you know what C major is, right? C major chord.
Yep.
Yeah. So we can take that exact pattern and kind of break it down to figure out what a major chord is. So from here to here, from the first note to the second note, there's three in between. So one, two, three. And then from the second note to the third note, two in between. So one, two. Okay, so just remember a major chord is three and then two. Yeah. So if we do that with an A major, we want to take the root note's going to be A. Then we're going to have three in between. One, two, three. And then two in between. One, two. And now you can see we have major because one, two, three in between the first and second, and two in between the second and third. Yeah. So see if you can with that. So just remember, a major chord is three in between and then two in between. So I just in my mind I like to think of it as like major is 3 2 and minor is opposite, so it's 2 3. So see if you can play a E major chord. Nice. Yep. Perfect. Okay. See if you can play an A flat minor chord. close. So you have this one, which is 2 in between, and then 2 in between.
Oh, I thought oh, okay, hold on.
Yep.
Yeah, it's gonna be a little while.
Remember, minor is 2, 3. Oh, now you've got 3, 2, so that'll actually be a major. That'll be A flat, major. Yeah, but we want to do A flat minor. There you go. Yeah, perfect. Okay, let's try C sharp major. Oh. Right now you've got this one. Now this one is a 2 in between, 2 in between. Do we want to do major? So what's major? 2, 3 or 3, 2?
Major is a 3-2?
Yep, exactly. So the first one you have here, make sure between here and here, that'll be 2. So we got to make sure we move that up to this one here. There you go. Yeah, nice. Okay, let me just open up another program. I keep opening. That's the thing with theory. I got to open all these programs. Okay, one sec. Change the background. Okay, so if we have one note, it's just a note. If we have 2 notes, it's an interval. But if we have 3 or more notes, it's a chord. Okay, so I'm just going to write out 3 chords here. Now these are like the primary chords, which is kind of like the primary colors in
You could have
art.
used the shapes as a. Okay.
What's that?
You could have used the shapes to like draw the notes a little bit better.
Oh, because they're all kind of like weird looking.
This one's circle. Yeah.
Yeah, so the bottom one, so we're going to say 1, 3, we'll say 1, 3, and 5. So these are called triads. Have you heard of triads before?
Yeah. Maybe.
Okay, cool.
No, I have not heard of the triad.
No? Okay. Yeah, so triad is like a basic chord. It's like primary colors, this is a primary chord. Because once built off of these 4 chords, you build all sorts of other chords like major 7 and minor 7 and all that stuff. So so when we're going from with a major, so I'm just going to put big M. With major, from 1 to 3 is going to be 3 in between. And then from 3 to 5 is going to be 2 in between. The way that I remember that is that the bigger one is first. So 3 is first, therefore it's major. Now, if we do the opposite of that, the
Be a lowercase m?
Yep, lowercase m, yep. This will be minor. And now it's going to go 2. Between 1 and 3, it's 2 first. And between 3 and 5, it's 3. So because it's flipped and now it's 2 first, so the first one is smaller, therefore minor. Okay, now we've got the major and we've got the minor. So we've done 3, 2, 2, 3. Now what other combinations could we do here?
Is there a 1-4?
No, it'll just be, I'll give you the hint, it's just with 2s and 3s.
3, 3, 2, 2?
Yeah, exactly. So we're going to go 3, 3 over here because that's just it just kind of connects it with the major, which is bigger. So 3/3. And 3/3 is called augmented. Augmented. It's like it's like like when you make something bigger, you augment it. And then this one over here, 2/2. And there's gotta be a ballet joke in there somewhere. And that's 2/2 is diminished. Okay. So yeah, as long as you can remember those four, you can start to build basically any chord. Because in the future, if somebody says make a diminished flat 7 chord, then basically you make a diminished chord, you find the 7th note, and then you make that also flat. Yeah, so if you're doing B flat diminished, so then a flat 7, you're doing another you're going to add the 7th on that. So if B is the 1, B, C, D, E, F, G, A. Which in this case would be an A double flat. Because it relates back to the key signature. So actually, let's talk a bit about the key signature. So that's good to know. Just those 4. But let's talk a bit about the key signature, because this will help with a lot of everything else we do. Okay, so with key signatures, I always like to go back to like C major, A minor, because you don't have to think of any sharps or flats. It's just C to C. And that's like the first one everyone learns, right? So it's like an easy one to remember. So it's like, okay, C major. Now, if we'll break it down, we'll figure out the underlying pattern. So from the first note to the second note, we're going to say is a tone, because from here to here is a semitone, and then you go up another, that'll be a tone. Okay, so from here to here, what'll it be from here to here? Tone or semi?
Semi?
No, it'll be a tone because we're going up 2. So 1, 2, like that.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. We'll put in another tone, T for tone. How about from here to here?
It will be a semi. Nothing in
Semi, yep. And then here to here?
Of course, it will be a tone.
Tone, yep. Here to here?
Tone.
Yep. Here to here?
So, I'm seeing a pattern. We got tone, tone, semi, tone, 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 semi.
Yeah, exactly. And that underlying pattern, that tone, tone, semi, tone, 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 semi, is the underlying pattern of every single major scale. So the thing is, when you're learning piano, and you're doing like the different scales and stuff, sometimes they'll be like, oh, memorize, in the key, we're going to play A major. Therefore, you have to remember, oh, A has a C sharp, an F sharp, and a G sharp. And then when you play like D major, it's got an F sharp, and it's only an F sharp and a C sharp. You know what I mean? So you got to like remember all these different sharp combinations and stuff. And that makes it more complex because like you got to remember all these different ones, right? But if you just remember this, tone, tone, semi, tone, 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 semi, then it applies to all of them and you don't have to necessarily, like eventually you will just memorize it, but you can always fall back on this as the thing that'll show you all the key signatures for major. So let me show you what I mean. So we know it's tone, tone, semi, tone, 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 semi. So tone, tone, semi, tone, 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 semi. Okay, let's try it on A flat major. So we're going to start with A flat. And then you're going to go up a tone, 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 semi, tone, 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 semi. Nice. Yeah. And then the cool thing about that is now that we've done that, now we can it automatically tells us what's flat or what's sharp. So in this case, these are the flat ones. Well, this one too, but this one is this one. So basically, how many flats does it have?
How many flats is that? Is that like about 4 to 5?
Yeah, we'll say 4 because this one is this one. So it's just repeating that one. Nice. Okay, so then we know that A flat major has an A flat, a B flat, a D flat, and an E flat. Okay, so that's one thing that you can always fall back on. Just remember that the major key signatures are always tone, tone, semi, tone, 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 semi. It doesn't matter where you go. Like you could try here, E, tone, tone, semi, tone, 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 semi. And now we know E major has 4 sharps, which is F, G, C, and D. Yeah. Okay, let's see if you can do one. So see if you can do F sharp major. You can start on F sharp. Oh, hold on. So you've got F sharp, which is correct. Then you want to go up a tone. So that'll be the first tone. Yep. And then tone again. Yep. And then semi, yep. Nice. Yeah, very good, very good. Oops. Okay, so yeah, the victory theme. So tone, tone, semi, tone, 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 semi, and so that now you can figure out every single with that simple little equation. You can figure out every single major key signature and scale there is. If somebody just says like G major, then tone, tone, semi, tone, 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 semi. And then I figure out, oh, G major only has 1 sharp. Or, let me see, E flat major. So tone, tone, semi, tone, 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 semi. You can see E flat major has E flat, A flat, B flat. It has 3 flats. Okay, now, I just want you to do D major.
D major, right? Okay.
Yep. Nice. Yeah. And another thing too is you can always rely on your ear. Like if you know what a major scale is supposed to sound like, then as you're playing it, like back in the day when I wasn't really good with theory, I would usually just rely on my ear because I had a really good ear for music. And so I would just be like, no, 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 no. I'd be like, oh, okay, there it is. So yeah, you can always rely on the ear, but it's good to have, multiple ways that you can figure it out. So you can always fall back on one just to double check or whatever. Okay, now we know that what D major is. Now, how many sharps?
Got one sharp here.
Yep. Exactly, 2 sharps. F sharp and C sharp. Okay, so now what we're going to do, I'm going to show you how to figure out where all the chords are within a key signature. So the first chord we're going to play is D major. And all the chords are always 1, 3, 5. So if you're here, 1, here's the 1, 1, 2, the 3 will be here because we're in D major, the F is sharp, 3, 4, and 5. So we always want to figure out 1, 3, 5. Yep, so that's the first one. Now the next one, we're going to move the whole pattern up. So now, what's the one that comes after D in the D major scale? Yep, so see if you can make that into a triad.
A major?
It doesn't have to be it probably won't be a major. Just so here's what you want to do. You want to think of here's the 1. And then you just go up in the scale. You want to look for the 1, 3, and 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, and this one will actually be a minor because we have 1, 2, and then 1, 2, 3. So you're going to find as we continue going up that we're going to be essentially using going between major chords, minor chords, and then also eventually a diminished chord. Okay, what's the next one that comes after E?
In the D major chord?
No, it'll be the next one up in the D major key signature. So here's the 1, the first one, the second one. Yeah, exactly, F sharp. So now F sharp is going to be the third chord that we're going to play. So remember, we got to find the 1, 3, 5. So how do we find the 1, 3, 5?
I probably did a minor just now. That's not right.
Yeah, nice. Because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, and in the key signature of D major, there's an F sharp and a C sharp. So that's why that one works. All right, cool. And that's a F sharp minor chord. So F sharp minor chord is the third chord in D major key signature. I know that probably sounds a bit weird when I first say it because just getting used to the terminology can be a little tricky at first. But yeah, so F sharp minor is the third chord because 1, 2, 3. The third chord in the D major key signature, which is essentially that pattern, which is the tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone pattern up here. Okay, now the next one, let's go up to the fourth chord. So what comes after the F sharp? Nice. Okay, and then see if you can find the triad here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. See if you can find the triad in this spot. Okay, you're hitting this one up here. Remember, it's going to be 1, 3, and 5, and this one up here would be 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, so we don't want the 6. We just want 1, 3, and 5. Nope. Here's how we do it. So we go, this one's the 1. Okay, yeah. So in that case, when you did this, that one, that won't be 1, 3, 5. That will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that'll be 1, 4, 6. Yeah, there you go. Nice. Okay, so that's the 4th chord. If we go up in a chord scale, the D major, that's the 4th. So here's the 1st chord, 2nd chord, 3rd chord, 4th chord. Now what would the 5th chord be? We got to move it up again. Yeah, but remember, so you've got this one, which is correct. But remember, in D major, there's F sharp and C sharp. Yep, nice. Very good. Okay, move it up again. Nice. And you remember that F sharp. Very good. Okay, keep going. Yeah, perfect. And that's the diminished one. First, you can hear it because it sounds... You'll get used to that diminished sound, so you'll be like, oh, that's definitely a diminished chord. But also, if you look at it, it has 1, 2, and then 1, 2. So remember, 2, 2 is diminished. And then, yeah, one more up. We're back to the start. So see if you can go all the way up with that. So... Nice. Yeah, very good. So basically what you've learned is by using tone, tone, semi, tone, 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 semi, you can find any key signature. So in this case, we did it with D major, but we also did it with like A flat major and E flat major and E major. You can use that to find any key signature and what sharps or flats are in it. And then with that, you can figure out every single chord within that key signature. So in this case, we found out there's an F sharp and a C sharp because a tone, tone, semi, tone, 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 semi. But then you do 1, 3, 5, 1, 3, 5, 1, 3, 5, 1, 3, 5, and move your way up. Oops. And now we can see all the chords within D major. So D major has D major, E minor, F sharp minor, G major, A major, B minor, C sharp diminished, and then back to D major. Now, the reason why that's really useful is because it can be useful in theory. This is more the theoretical side of it, but then you can kind of turn that into like, you can turn that into a technique by going like, you know, practicing the chord scale. Oops. Coming up and down. Oops. What am I doing? Okay, practicing going up and down with it. But then you can go even further with that to kind of improvise around with it. So you can be like, you grab the chord with the left hand and just do a little melody with the right hand. Okay, and then that's a way that you can practice the theory, technique, improvisation, and then eventually even composition. Because as you're playing around with those patterns, you start coming up with like, oh, that sounded cool. Maybe I'll turn that into a song somehow.
Mm-hmm.
All right, cool. Good stuff. We'll wrap it up there.
Yeah. Okay.
Nice to see you again. Take care.
Nice to see you
Till next
again.
time.
Have a good
All the
one.
best. You too.